All right, great. Hey, everybody, I'm kind of doing an experiment here. Um, I'm kind of trying out doing Facebook Live, and I think I'm doing a YouTube Live video as well. I'm not quite sure. So we're kind of seeing, kind of have to do some adjusting here on a couple things, and so it might look weird and might just be kind of, I don't know how it'll work out. But it's fun. So we're just giving this a shot. Anyway, one of the things I kind of wanted to try and talk to everyone about and just kind of put out there is just kind of talk about today happiness and what it really means to be happy and how do we find happiness in our own lives. Now, really, where this thought came from is recently I watched the movie called The Minimalist. Now, if you haven't seen this movie, it's on Netflix. So if you have a Netflix account, just go in there and just look up the minimalism or minimalist. And it's a great movie about how we are often in our lives taken to buy, to be consuming and be purchasing just tons of stuff to somehow find happiness. And I kind of actually specifically talks about the story of these two guys, and they have a blog called The Minimalist, in which they talks about their life and where they had these really high-paying jobs and they were doing really well, but they just were loaded with continually buying tons and tons and tons of stuff just to find happiness. And it really talks about how they got rid of all their stuff and how then they're just going out and sharing this message to everybody about how we don't need to have all this stuff. And it looks like my computer is being disconnected here, so I guess I'm just talking to YouTube for now. It works. Um, but essentially, what it made me think about, one of the things that it really brought up was, what does it mean to be truly happy? And I think each of us kind of needs to ask that question because, and Facebook is back. Here we go. I told you it was going to be a mess here. Um, I just wrapped up the story of the minimalist. But essentially, like, in this show, they talk about what it means to be happy. And one of the most important lines that I really love from this movie, and it's gone again. Oh well, forget about it. I'll just keep going. Is how happiness is found in finding purpose in our lives. And I really, really, really love this quote because I feel most of us are searching for some kind of purpose to be here. And for some reason we often place that purpose or that feeling of interaction onto stuff or onto things or something externally beyond ourselves. And so I'm just kind of curious here, like maybe for some of you, how do you find happiness? How do you find a purpose or meaning to your life? I think often we can look at what is it that we do on a day-to-day basis. What are you doing to bring meaning into your life? Often, I think this really comes into question because a lot of us just work so much. And sometimes it's, because we need to work so much just to survive. And sometimes there's an aspect of it we work so much because we're paying for all the things that we need or that we want. I love this quote, and let's see if I can pull it up here. And I guess I exit out of it, so just hang on a second here. But it's a quote by Dave Ramsey, and he's talking about this exact same thing. And I guess this is from a book that he published, The Total Money Makeover: A Proven Plan for Financial Fitness. And in this, he says, we buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't even like. I feel like that's a lot of us. I mean, and you could really say like in that expression, the expression "keeping up with the Joneses" or whatever it might be. And I guess this really kind of turned into a money conversation or kind of a minimalist conversation here. But really, I want to emphasize, and I guess what I want to emphasize here is where our happiness truly comes from. it doesn't come from being filled in with tons of stuff. There are rich people, people who have lots of money who are unhappy. But there are also people who are very poor and are very, very, very happy with their lives. And let me just say that the greatest form of happiness, the greatest way that we can have happiness is with our families and with our friends and experiencing real relationships with people. You know, social media is a great, wonderful gift that has been given to us, and you guys have probably heard this. Many of us have heard this, but sometimes it has also desensitized us to establishing real relationships with people. Not to say like some people would that it's evil, but it's just we are sometimes not more willing to go out and really have real relationships with people. So really think about this. How are you spending your time? What are you doing? What brings you the most joy? What do you feel the greatest happiness with? And that's really where where a life full of meaning comes from, is doing something that really and it brings lasting joy. Because having things, it's interesting when you buy something for the first time, there's actually an effect where it's really exciting the first time and you're really happy to have this thing, and then after a while you just get used to it. But what are things that you do that just, no matter when you're doing it, if it's the first time or the last time, that you just enjoy doing it? You're willing to dissect it and to get into it, and you love talking about it. That is finding a life of meaning. And ultimately, when we look at these gifts or these things that we love or that we're good at, it all always comes back to having a life full of service and giving back to others. When you are doing something that benefits someone else, that really enriches them and really gives life to them, who maybe didn't have much happiness before, let me tell you, the greatest feeling you can have is in that giving, is in that service that you give to other people. So I kind of talked about a lot of things here regarding happiness, but I just want to sum it up real quick, and just a couple of things to take away with. And I think the first is to assess, how are you spending your time and your money? Are you spending it on things that don't really matter, or are you spending it on checking your news feed every 10 minutes, or watching just a random YouTube video like you are right now? Or are you spending it with people that really matter to you? Same with money. Are you spending it on things that enrich your life, or does it merely entertain you? And does it really actually provide value? Does it really have a purpose? The other thing really is to look at, what are you good at? What are your talents? What are your gifts? And to really assess those things, and to let them shine and bring them forth, and let people see how this great thing that you've been given, this great thing that you can accomplish, and this thing that you love and are passionate about, if you bring that forth and you really just show that to people, and you allow that to enrich other people's lives, you will be fulfilled. And the third thing really is just giving service, and with your time, your energy, your money, with whatever it might be, giving service to people, actually being a member of society that makes the world a better place. There is nothing more in giving you purpose than that. And then really, I would kind of combine all those three things into one, which really is, how are you spending time with your family, your money with your family? Are you really finding joy in interacting with your family? And are you putting your effort to serve your family, regardless if that's extended family, you have kids, or just you're married or whatever? How are you giving that service to your family? So that's really it, and I'm really sorry that the Facebook didn't work out and you probably got a bunch of random things, but I will try to post a link to the YouTube video on this. Thanks you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great week, and I look forward to talking to you guys again pretty soon. See you later.